Good evening everyone, it's Antony Carpen here for Vloguary 2019. Now Vloguary is essentially the concept of filming a very short blog post every day for a month in the month of January, and I tried this out a couple of years ago, just if anything to get used to the idea of speaking directly into into a camera, because I was getting into the idea of trying to put together local news reports and also short video clips of all things to do with the local historical research that I've been doing, because I've been saying to various people that I'm in the process of researching for writing a book all about the history of Cambridge, the town, and the inevitable problem is not so much that, well, what do you write about, is that there is so much to write about that actually which are the bits that you have to strike out. And I think looking at things at the moment, it's going to have to be in more than one volume, because what surprises me, actually, funnily enough, about Cambridge and Cambridge's history, and I'm talking about Cambridge the town here, not the university, is that so little has actually been written and published, and out of the stuff that has been written and published, there are inevitably huge gaps. Now, part of the problem is, what audience do you aim it at? I'll give you an example. I got this book, which is Ackerman's Cambridge. It's actually the 1951 reproduction by Reginald Ross Williamson. Now, the original was actually put together in 1815 by a Mr. Ackerman. I think his first name was Rudolph, if I recall correctly. But one of the wonderful things about this book is the quality of the prints. And you can see, hopefully if I can get the light not casting too much of a shadow, you can see, first of all, there Clare Hall and then Pembroke Hall. And actually I'll just flick through to actually one of my favourite views, which has slightly changed over time. That's of the mill pond with Queen's behind, and there have been 3 different bridges over that part of the Cam. The current one, which I think was finally built by Lutyens in the 1950s, was basically built to replace the old iron bridge, which was really struggling under the weight of Cambridge's traffic. You will constantly hear people moaning about Cambridge's traffic. We have had newspaper headlines on Cambridge's traffic since the First World War. So nothing's going to change. Yeah, even if we get this mega metro system. Anyway, I spent part of today back in the Cambridgeshire collection. I also was in the antiquarian bookshop G. David, which is where I also pulled out this book, Workhouse to Housework, which is all about the history of the old workhouse on Mill Road, which later became a maternity hospital and then became a retirement home. And one of the things that certainly the long-term residents of Mill Road in that area were able to say, and I think Kay Blaney told me this one, Kay's a local teacher and historian amongst other things, said that basically you could get all of your public services from cradle to grave all along Mill Road and you would not have to leave the road. And that was in the days when they had both the maternity services there and also, not very far down the road, a still functioning Mill Road cemetery. And you also had the hospitals up at the end of the road, which again at the time was still functioning. So one of the big challenges I've got, amongst other things, is how do you then go about structuring it all together? Now, for me, it's not just the writing for this, and I think I'll end this little post here, is I've got with me this wonderful print, and again, it's from the Cambridgeshire collection, and this is the old Assizes Courthouse, where they used to jail people in, and it was inexplicably knocked down in the mid-1950s, and they turned it into a car park, which was a really stupid thing to do, because actually it was a really nice courthouse, although it was not really fit for purpose by the time it got to the mid-1950s, and really, in my opinion, what they should have done with it is to have turned it into an expanded museum of Cambridge. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So what I'd like to see, and again, it probably won't happen, but you know, one can dream, is to see this effectively rebuilt and have it house the expanded Museum of Cambridge as part of whatever plans the County Council have with their disposal of Shire Hall as an asset, which, yeah, please don't get me started on that, because that is probably best left as a subject for a future vlog post. So I shall love you and leave you.